All right, friends and family, brothers and sisters, much love to all of you guys out there. I'm coming to you live with a full-on, average, everyday house cold that has been ravaging me and has afflicted myself for a few many days. But this is one of these things that, I'm 47 years old. I've had one of these average, everyday house colds, at least once every couple of years, something that comes across and busts you up and, it gives you, your body aches, you can't breathe right, your head feels like it's going to explode, all sorts of various things, right? We know what these are. And it's fascinating to watch the world go through as we have an entire world that's so scared of getting a cold. And my kids, they're definitely not taking this one well. Two of the three have gotten owned by this. And they're young enough that they haven't been through enough of these good old-fashioned house cold where you got to lay in bed and got to get some chicken soup and, get some Kleenexes and blow your nose and get a lot of sleep. And, anytime the sun's shining, pop out there and, get some vitamin D and, cough out the lung butter. That's the amazing story of the colds, right? Excuse me. So this leads me into the popping up and propping up and giving praises and giving glory to our Elohim Most High, to our supreme commander, to our designer, to our builder, to our father, to our just everything that we need, to the fact that our beautiful, wonderful designer gave us a set of instructions that are even better than all of this. And as I power through the cold and kind of laugh and chuckle, because I know how they run, I know how they operate. Can't hear right now, so I'm probably screaming to you guys. You might need to adjust that because both ears are plugged as we speak as well. But I am rejoicing in our Creator who has designed an incredible system that we know as an immune system, a system that identifies these bad things in our bodies and it goes out with the weapons of killing and it goes and defeats it. And so as I sit here and I wander through all these different colds throughout my 47 years of being alive, I rejoice at the healing ability that our Creator has given to us to be able to withstand this and to be able to, rejoice in the sickness. We know what comes, we know what goes. Sometimes we get sicker than other times. Sometimes it's no fun at all. And most of the time it's no fun at all. And I'm not having a tremendous amount of fun, but I do have a lot of fun rejoicing as I am being afflicted and rejoicing that my Creator has given my body some way to fight what I don't even know I'm sick with. And so I will always rejoice to our Creator. I will always praise Him. I will always think deep thoughts about how He has built the entire system and how He has created us in such a perfect fashion, how He's created everything around us in a perfect fashion. And He's worthy to be praised. And I think all of us that are especially in Torah that realize that there is a walk and a path forward. And that is what the Torah means. It means the way forward. And the Torah is found in the first 5 books of Scriptures: Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy. And it is in those 5 books that we discover how our Creator wants us to live, how He wants us to operate, how He wants us to worship, how He wants us to behave, how He wants us to do retail business, how we are supposed to take care of sickness, how we are supposed to take care of health. All of these different things that inside of a religious system, of any kind of religious system, they put zero value on the first 5 books of Scriptures. They put 100% value on Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. Actually, they don't even put that. I will say they put 30% value into that, because we run across books like Matthew 7 that our Messiah Yahushua, there were no J's in Hebrew, but our Messiah Yahushua, he said that if you're living in iniquity and you're not trying to stop it, if you are, it doesn't matter if you're saying things in his name. It doesn't matter if you're casting out demons in his name or doing wonderful works in his name. If you're not keeping the first 5 books of scriptures, which is the instructions, good instructions of life, then you're going to be sent to a place of a horrible place that we don't want to go. And so it is with that we are able to bring and try to fish for men. We're always out there fishing for anyone who is able to be brought into the kingdom. And the kingdom path is a path of Torah keeping people. All right, so right before you guys is what you're looking at here is you're looking at what has been nicknamed, not by me, but by others, the Big Blue Book. And it is a big blue book. This picture doesn't give you any kind of understanding of the kind of the bigness, the largeness, the size of this book. And we're going to be actually coming up with a actual like carrier for these things that are perfect for these scriptures. So we had to wait till we actually got our scriptures down here into Central America before we could even like try to design the little bag. But at some point we'll come up with a little cool carrying case that'll be some rugged thing. So these things will be a little bit more portable. But these are the study guide extremes. These are, the entire book is large print. So the book of Genesis, like chapter 1, spans pages, right? Because in normal text, it's just really itty bitty small and you can read for a little bit, your eyes get tired. This is for the reading guys that want to champion a book for a long term. And not only does it have what you call the 66 canon, but it also has the 37 other Apocrypha books. And there are other Apocrypha books, and maybe one day we might be adding a couple. But this sums up all of the extracurricular books that tell us all the same things that our regular scriptures do. From the first page on to the last page of scripture, it's always been a theme of, I will be your leading commander. I will be the guy in charge if you will follow me. And what it means by following our Creator is if we keep his laws, statutes, and commandments. So within this, our Creator has said, if you'll follow me, I will be your leader. You will be my people. And so, guys, this is a beautiful book. This is a book that we're able to get Bibles into prisoners. We're able to talk to a tremendous amount of prisoners because of Yah Scriptures. We are able to minister into some of the darkest depths of the U.S. prison system ever. And so we thank you guys. And so you guys can go to yahscriptures.com. There's all the free versions are in the descriptions below. There's every version of this is digital, is completely free of charge. No gimmicks. It's just you go and you can go to Yah Scriptures, click on downloads. The Google version, which we are using right here, is there, and this is what we are reading out of today. And so this is the very last book in the book of Yah Scriptures. And let me find where I was here, guys. Let's see. There it is, right here. So 12:9. So this is the words of our Messiah. This is the words as our Messiah walked amongst all of the people, and Khalidi is probably a scribe of or a writer or somebody who was able to write much of what Yahushua, Jesus, had to say. And again, his name isn't Jesus. That's a pagan name for those who do not know. It's Saint Jesus. And in 1611 was the first understanding that anybody ever had of that name. Prior to that, it was IESUS. And that's very much incorrect. The Hebrew names don't change. My name is Jason. When I came down to a Central America country, there's no such name. Nobody names their people Jason. And so it's the letter J sounds like a Y. So they see my name and I'm a Yason. So if you guys want to call me Yason, I would know that because that's what people call me. But names don't translate. It doesn't go down there. And definitely Jesus does not sound anything like Yahushua. So let's begin into this. This is 12:9. And this is the Talmudian, who are the disciples with, that's the word, the Hebrew word Talmudim is the disciples. That's who's eating with Messiah. So right now, some other people, not some followers, not all followers. After they had eaten, two followers of Yahushua came into the house and approached him, saying, Adonai, we have robbed a rich man. Have we not done a good deed? For this gives him a better chance in the life to come. Boy, this would be quite the understanding, right? Imagine this, that these guys come to Messiah and, hey, and guys, you're not going to rob. I mean, normally if it depends on the kind of robbery. I mean, if they just went in and stole some stuff, but if it was an armed robbery, that's a whole other thing. But this is what Messiah has to figure out. Yahushua said, even though he used riches wrongly, you have done no more than add wrong to wrong. Evil cannot be rectified by evil, no matter what the circumstances. Beautiful words, right? Words of knowledge, words of wisdom. This is why Messiah is our qualified dude who, when he comes, guys, he's going to give us an understanding of the calendars. Because as Torah people, all of us have a kabillion different calendars, and everybody sees this a different way. And I don't think it's up to me to convince anyone to go a certain way, because at a certain level, I can't prove anything other than the calendar I am using is called the Zadiki calendar. And it's the only one that I can get to actually align up with all of the scriptures completely around. And so I know a lot of people have already tossed snacks in my back and have hit me over the head with a bat. I would encourage that we all show love and compassion, that, look, our brothers and sisters, if they're keeping the commandments of our Creator, they're our brothers and sisters. We don't all have this dialed in. We don't all have this figured out. Messiah's going to come and he's going to fix this. He's going to tell us, guys, he's like this. And I bet a lot of us have a lot of things wrong, but this is why we need a leader. And this is why when we hear the words of Messiah where he says evil cannot be rectified by evil, no matter what the circumstances, that's wise stuff, right? That's the thoughts of us being vigilantes, that we want to go and we want to rid all this evil of some way, but in the process, we're breaking Torah commandments. And so we are trying to rectify evil by evil, and it's not to be. 11. One of the men said, Adonai, I gave all the proceeds to the disinherited, gaining nothing for myself except the fear of death, while the other with me gave only some silver, keeping the rest. All right, so we have the bandits, and they've broken the bond, and you can see that there is a discrepancy with they're trying to, hey, maybe we didn't just keep the money, but we went ahead and gave it to those who needed it. And then this one dude said he gained nothing for himself. So you had a modern day Robin Hood right here that is doing this. And what does Messiah say about our modern day Robin Hood? Yahushua said, then your crime was the lesser one, but a crime nevertheless, right? If we break one part of the Torah, we break it all. That is not a go ahead and go sin because you just can't keep the Torah, because we can keep the Torah. We can keep the Torah once we write the Torah on our hearts, on our minds, on our souls, and ingrain it into our lives. Put it on your door frames. Put it on the gates of your house. Think about it when you get up. Think about it when you go to bed. It is something that is a beautiful, wondrous piece of life that we have been given in a set of words that can govern our lives to a kingdom to come. And so we need to make sure that whatever we're doing, we're not doing stuff that is breaking Torah, even though we think that, hey, Robin Hood, people loved him, right? Stole from the rich, gave to the poor. Well, Messiah says Robin Hood is still breaking Torah. 13. Yahushua dismissed the man and said to the Talmudim, no man can push another into goodness or force spiritual credits upon him. Men are brought to goodness by guidance and example. And that is so wise. I mean, where do we hear words like this, right? No man can push another into goodness or force spiritual credits upon him. Two huge important things, right? One is that I'll take my example of my dear old mom. She's 80, 70 some years old. She's been a good Christian all her life. She loves pork. She loves the holidays. She loves decorating her house for Christmas. She loves all the pagan stuff, all the stuff of the world. And she will very bluntly tell me that I am going to hell for keeping the laws of our Creator. And I will ask her, which commandment is going to be the damning one? Which one of them? And she's like, all of them. So because I have forsaken the man-made doctrine of Christianity in their minds, I'm a heretic, all right? And that's programming. That comes out of the programming, the cult of the people. Just like the Jehovah's Witnesses. And when anybody comes against like anything in their thing, they're like, oh, that's an apostasy. We must toss them out, and they get tossed out of their little kingdom stuff that they have. And, that's just another cult. All of these, if there's under religion, you could just cross out religion and put cult, because there's not a single religion in of itself. Hold up. I am so very sorry about that. All right, so let's continue on. I don't even know where it was. It's an issue. Dear old mom. That's where it is. Dear old mom. She loves her stuff, and it doesn't matter how much I love dear old mom. I can't get her to even consider the laws of our Creator, that they're not a joke. They're not, not something. She will even go as far as laughing about decorating her house on a Shabbat. And she just laughs, and she like the evilest henchman, when we were doing a video call, she just like puts her hands together, and she thought it was such a joke to mess with me over this, because she knows that I'm completely against swine and against all of Christmas, and especially doing stuff. And so there's nothing that we can do either, right? When it says forcing spiritual credits upon them, there's nothing that we can do to save those who are unwilling to save themselves. And sometimes that's a really hard reality to come to. And it's a sad reality. And I don't know what's going to happen when my mom dies. I'm going to be very much sad, not of her death, but of her spiritual death. That I have tried for many years now to get her to consider a different thing than her Christianity, but her pastor and her church has her so saved, so on the bus to the rapture, so once saved, always saved, pray to Jesus, can get nothing wrong. It's just really, really sad. And so I guess we'll continue on with this. Messiah says men are brought to goodness by guidance and example. And that's definitely it, right? But that's the one thing about wearing tzitzit, right? We have a commandment, Numbers 15:38, I think is what it is. But it's that we need to be wearing tzitzits on the four corners of our garments. And the tzitzits are blue tassels or blue ribbons. And they are things that it may seem a little weird when you first start wearing them, but once you start wearing them and everyone starts noticing, a lot of questions will come up. Are you Jews? No, I'm not a Jew. I'm a Torah keeper. I'm a law keeper. I just keep the scriptures, the 103 books coming out of Yah Scriptures. Those are the commandments and laws that I think are instructions for mankind. So by us simply wearing tzitzits, there's always an example that, at some point someone will come up and fish for men and say, hey, what are these? Why are you doing this? And we'll go, hey, it's in the scriptures. It's a commandment of our Creator, and it's cool, right? So that's the thing, right? We need to be the example for people. We need to be not what these wicked preachers all over TV do, and they live their just radical lives and on the backs of these people. It's not only are they like demons and teachers of doom, but they are. I mean, when you calculate the amount of souls of people that believe that they are saved and they just walk right into death happily, just to enter into a very terrorizing moments right afterwards where you're sorted and filed and you put into a place of terror, which is what it says in 2nd Ezra. I mean, it talks about the end times and about who goes where and the creepy stuff that happens after that. If you're not a good dude, it doesn't look good. It just definitely does not look good. Continuing on, Netanyahu said, these men have sons. What of them? For is it not in the Torah that sons shall suffer for the misdeeds of their fathers? Where's the justice in this? And that's actually not true. I don't know what Netanyahu is actually talking about, because there is a Torah command that sons and daughters do not suffer for this. Like you're not going to kill the offspring of the people for what the people did, right? If you're a Torah keeper and your dad gets crazy and does some crazy stuff, the kids are not to be messed with as far as that goes. But what can happen though is when men or women break Torah and it gets them, say their dad goes to jail or he gets drunk and beats up somebody, and all of a sudden the repercussions come back up on the people. Everybody knows that your dad is the guy that did this or what. All of us have those stories. A lot of us have terrible stories like that. But that's the things where people will suffer for the misdeeds of their fathers. But I'm not sure what Netanyahu means, because there's not such a thing. 15. Yahushua said, "The sense of words changes with their transmission. And have I not told you that taking one part of the Torah and setting it apart from the rest leads to error? Only by diligently reading the whole, word by word, can it be understood." Guys, this is a huge mistake we live into when we come from Christianity, right? They have given us only the books of Paul, a couple of words in Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, but the Old Testament, the Tanakh, is stuff for kids, story tales, fables, Noah's Ark, all of this stuff. But it's just that we have a new way forward because we follow Christ, and Christ has absolved us from Torah use because he died on the cross and said it is fulfilled. Sound familiar? Right? That's the cult of Christianity. That did not exist. That did not happen. Nothing like that went down. So Messiah says that we can't, if you want to take one spot and make your commandments and you're not observing all of the Torah, which is why we need to ingrain Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy into our heart, mind, and soul. We need to keep reading it over and over and over. It needs to be a process throughout our life and throughout our years that we're always into Torah, always reading Torah, always gaining more from Torah, so that we are able to battle the adversary when he comes and he produces things in front of us that are against the Torah. Immediately we know the way our Creator wants us to go. See, our Creator has not left us defenseless. He has left us with a full arsenal of weaponry, of savage war gear that is ready to keep our lives and our families' lives safe. It's something just wonderful. And so we need to understand it. We can't just read one thing or just know the laws, statutes, and commandments. We need to understand them as in context, the whole context. Messiah says, "Given a single thread from a carpet, could any one of you know the pattern? It is the transgressions of the fathers which cause the children to suffer. For not only are there things which must not be done, but there are things which are to be done. Also, things which must be guarded against." Right? And this is what Messiah says. He reiterates, it's not in the Torah, right? You have to understand that the transgressions of the father, if you're sitting there smoking, drinking, and doing all this stuff, and you raise your kids and they see that you're smoking and drinking, and they jump into it when they're 12 and 13, and they carry on these generational curses, these things that hinder our body and mind and soul, that's the transgressions of the father. And the kids will suffer, and the kids will carry on until somebody's able to break those generational curses. And so, things which must be guarded against, right? The thing is, unless we know the Torah, we don't know what to guard against. We don't know what iniquity is. We don't know what sin is. And the Christians will have you believe from their cult that the Holy Spirit will tell us what to do and what not to do. And they will say that as they're eating a giant chunk of pig and praying to a deity they call God, blessing the food, the unclean food that they're about to ingest in their system, which could very well kill them. But yet they refuse the good instructions of our Creator, who says we shouldn't be eating unclean food. Continuing on, Messiah says, "If a man fails to instruct his children or permit them to grow up unruly, he is a transgressor against the Torah." Absolutely. Let's talk about that. How is this happening? Because when you allow your kids to grow up and not keep Torah, they don't have any laws. They don't have anything governing their lives. They have some moral laws that us as parents teach our kids, but they don't have things like don't eat fat, don't drink the blood, don't look at your sister naked. Obviously, we shouldn't be, but we live in a world that all of this comes out of the house, and there's so many of us that have all been molested and completely owned because we didn't have any family that lived in Torah. They didn't keep these guidelines, these good instructions that absolutely said it was a sin to have that kind of an interaction with your family. And so when we destroy our kids like this, we're breaking Torah because we're not taking care of our children. We're not raising them up. The part of that, Deuteronomy 6:4 says that we need to embed the Torah into the hearts, minds, and souls of our kids. So when we are not embedding the Torah into the hearts, minds, and souls of our kids, that's breaking commandments. That's all part of it, right? That's transgressing the Torah. Just that part. Not only that, we break all sorts of other commandments. And then we set off more generational curses of crazy people that have no laws of our Creator because we didn't have any. Crazy. Continue on. And is it not obvious this affects the children? If a man chooses his wife for her beauty and charm because she pleases him, and not for her wifely and motherly attributes, he transgresses against the Torah. Yeah, so what does that mean? That means that you are sitting there looking for the eye candy, and guys, that's the thing. The most beautiful women, I will just tell you this from my standpoint, the most beautiful women that I've ever seen are the makeup-less women. The ones that just have pure beauty and they don't cake on layers of this stuff in some weird thing literally, it came from the fallen angels, guys. The entire makeup process and the patting and all that duding up, that was a Nephilim watcher invention, basically watchers. So, what happens then that this woman is just so prissy and so she can't do anything around the house, right? Then you never have food, you never have a stable house, your kids never have a stable mother, they never have anything. Because the beauty of a woman comes from within, and most of the time us as men never ever see the true beauty of our woman until years into marriage. And when you start seeing the loyalty and the strengths of a bondage of a system that is meant for success, then it's obvious that you could have gone after the things that please the world. But yet the greatest beauty, the greatest loyalty, the greatest hearts, the most care, the most tenderness, the most love you will ever find may not be what the world thinks is that beauty. But I guarantee you that it doesn't matter who you are or what you look like, that our Creator thinks you're absolutely beautiful, that you're absolutely marvelous, and that you're designed exactly how He wants you to be. And so there can be no flaws in this. And so it's very important that we have the right women, that we have the right men, that, and if either or is not in Torah, we're in trouble, right? We're already in Torah. We're already getting ourselves into a huge mess, which is why Torah-based relationships to marriage should be stand a test of all time. Okay, continuing on. Does not the effect of this fall upon his children, which is basically not having a mother that will guide the children when the dude's gone, when the guy is gone, right? If a man steal, Elohim will not chastise the children. But if that man be caught and crucified, his wife sold into bondage, will not his children suffer? Same thing, right? Back in the day, this is the effect that would happen, right? If you end up stealing and you were pulled into slavery, your entire family could end up going into slavery because of your actions. And so we have to be very, very clear of understanding that, the damage is too much. We need to be a Torah-based people. All right. Wow, I've even rambled with a gigantic cold to you guys. All right, let's finish up here, guys. Let's end it with this. We'll end it at 18. The Torah of Yahuwah, as given in the books of wisdom, is unlike the laws of men. Okay, whoa, what are we talking about? The Torah of Yahuwah. Now we've identified the Torah of Yahuwah, and we know that to be the first 5 books of Scriptures. And we also have the first 5 books of Scriptures that are referred to as the books of wisdom. And we hear that all the time. And people are like, well, what are the books of wisdom? The first 5 books of Scriptures. They're, instead of calling these things the laws, we should call them the instructions of the Almighty. That's all they are, right? The manual for human life, and probably beyond human life as well. Okay, and so we know that the laws of men are what the laws of men are. The laws of men are crazy. They have people in death row for 35 years. 18 and a half. A man is responsible not only for what he does, but for what he fails to do. Okay, this was a big one when I first remembered reading through this book. This particular verse was rough. It's rough, guys. Think about this. We're going to be responsible for the times that we walk past the people in the streets that we could have helped. We will be responsible. Is it our responsibility? Well, we're told to fish for men. We're told that we need to love our neighbor. How are we ever going to find our neighbors if we're not willing to show them the Torah? How are we ever willing to herald in the coming of the kingdom if we're not out there as ambassadors to the kingdom? It is up to us to use the vital abilities that we have, our mouths, our mind, our hands, or to shout out the ways of the kingdom. Everybody, in my opinion, should be keeping these laws, statutes, and commandments. It would make a world a better world. All the Satanists, well, you'd pick up rocks and chuck them and kill them all, right? You wouldn't have things like that. You wouldn't have witches or sorcery. You wouldn't have any of this stuff if we were under the laws of the Torah. So, we're responsible for what we do and what we don't do. So, guys, gals, I just remember this. This is words from our Messiah, and it gives us a lot more context about what our responsibilities really are. Continuing on. And though he spends his whole life in prayer at places of righteousness, but overlooks his obligations under the greater Torah, he is not free of transgression. Huge things, guys. I mean, you might be a Torah-based monk off into somewhere that's just sitting there living in prayer and keeping everything absolutely holy. But the obligations of the Torah is that we need to be living the Torah as a shining example of light. And like Messiah says, are we supposed to put our light under a bushel? Are we supposed to hide it and go into a cave or a crevice? No, we go to the top of the mountain. We seek those who are willing to be found, those who we can say, hey, there's a different way. There's a way outside of religion, a way that involves only a book that we have been given. And this book tells us the complete truth. It tells us from the beginning of creation all the way beyond eternity, what we get from this. We hear all sorts of amazing things. And so, guys, it is imperative that we read these 5 books by ourselves. This is why I provided every version of Yah Scriptures that we can possibly provide for free is out there. That's why I read. This is the Google app we're reading on right now, free of charge. Costs us thousands of dollars to develop and toss out there. And we just want people to download and read this. Inside of these books, these first 5 books right here are the Kodesh books. These are the holy books, the books of wisdom. Where else do you find them? At the start. And so when you write these 5 books on your heart, mind, and soul, you will walk with our Creator in a way and understand his Torah commands, because these commandments, they are beautiful. They are for all times. They are for generations. They are for all peoples, all creeds, all humans, probably all aliens, which are probably the demons, and they should start keeping these too. All right, guys, from the cold capital of the jungles, I hope you guys have a good day. Much love to y'all. I'm out.